boys and girls of grade 5, and welcome to lesson 2 of your social studies class. I'm your teacher, Miss Melissa, and today we'll be looking at traffic rules and modes of transportation. So let's begin by looking at what is transportation. Transportation is the movement of humans, animals, and goods from one location to another. But you may ask, how are animals transported? Have you ever seen flocks of birds flying overhead? Well then, that is evidence of the transportation of animals. There are different modes of transportation, which refer to the different ways by which people or goods are transported from one place to another. Are you acquainted with the modes of transportation? There are 3 of them. If you stated land, air, and water, then you are on the right track. For land transport, we may use our feet, bicycles, motorcycles, cars, buses, trucks, lorries, train, or tractors. For air or aviation transport, we may use helicopters, aeroplanes, jet, hot air balloons, and parachutes. For water transportation, we may use boats, ships, canoes, rafts, liners, cruise ships, jet skis, ferries, yachts, or even submarines. So as we can see, we have many forms of transportation that we can choose from. However, today we want to zoom in on the safety practices that we should employ while using these modes. So let's take a look at land transportation. On land, there are various categories of land users. They include pedestrians, drivers, cyclists, motorcyclists, and passengers. But what is a pedestrian? A pedestrian refers to a person who travels on the road by foot. A driver, or sometimes called a motorist, refers to a person who drives a vehicle. We also have cyclists or pedal cyclists, who refers to a person who travels by or rides a bicycle. There are even motorcyclists, who are persons who travel by or rides a motorcycle. Then there are passengers, who are persons who travel in a motor vehicle. I am sure you have been one or a few of those road users at some point of time in your life. So let's take a look at some safety rules that we should use while traveling on the road. Whose responsibility is it to be safe on our road? Road safety, boys and girls, is everybody's business. It is therefore important that we all take part in ensuring that we use the roads correctly. We must put in practice the 5 C's when using the road. They are consideration, common sense, caution, courtesy, and care. So let's take a look at the safety rules that should be used by various road users. We'll begin with pedestrians. They must walk on pavements where they are provided. As a pedestrian, you must use pedestrian crossing or zebra crossing and crosswalks to cross the roads. Be sure to walk on the right-hand side of the road to face oncoming traffic. Pedestrians must also ensure that they wear light-colored clothing during the night while on the road. For example, white, yellow, and fluorescent colors. They should also practice using the curb drill. But what is the curb drill? Let me remind you. It says, look right, look left, look right again, and if the road is clear, walk quickly across. As pedestrians, you must never play near the side of the road. Do you know, boys and girls, that it is illegal for a pedestrian to cross or walk in the street or road unlawfully without regard for approaching traffic? Yes, it is. This is called jaywalking, and it is an infraction of the law. Persons who jaywalk could be asked to pay a fine by police officers. Let's move on to traffic rules that should be observed by drivers. Always wear a seat belt. Do not drink and drive. Alcohol, of course. Always carry your driver's license and other important documents while driving. Do not use your cell phone while driving. Adhere to permitted speed limits and obey all traffic signals, signs, and lights. We will come to that area shortly. So what about cyclists? They also have safety rules that they must observe, and they are as follows. Ensure that your bicycle is in full working order. That is, it has a brakes, bell, and other important parts. Ride on the left-hand side of the road. Remember that you should wear bright-colored clothing if you are riding at night. Do not ride more than 2 abreast. And you may wear a cycling helmet, knee guard, and elbow guard for added safety. Let's take a look at some safety rules that should be used by motorcyclists while on the road. Always wear a helmet strapped properly below the chin. If there is a pillion rider, be sure that they wear a helmet also. A pillion rider is a person who travels in a seat or place behind the rider of the motorcycle. A motorcyclist should observe speed limits, wear light-colored clothing to be seen at night, and finally, do not drink and ride. Our last road user is passengers. A passenger should never board or deboard a moving vehicle. Keep all hands and heads in the vehicle. Always wear your seat belt. Be quiet while in the vehicle, since this prevents the passenger from distracting the driver. Earlier we said that motorists should observe all traffic signs, signals, and lights. So let's take a look at traffic signs. Traffic or safety signs warn you of possible dangers and provide information about rules when using the road. Let's look at some common traffic signs and their meanings. Are you acquainted with this traffic sign? Yes, it is a pedestrian crossing, and it is usually a warning sign. Pedestrian crossing signs provide advance notice of areas of high pedestrian activity, so drivers can prepare to slow down or stop on short notice. Drivers encountering pedestrian crossing should remain vigilant to prevent any accidents from occurring. Let's take a look at another traffic sign. Brilliant! That is a traffic light. The red on the light tells drivers to stop. The green means that they can start driving or keep driving. The yellow or amber tells the driver to slow down because the light is about to turn red. Here we have a no horn traffic sign, or what some call a silent zone. This indicates the prohibition of using the horn. No sound horn signals symbolizes not to make a horn in a specified area. This traffic symbol is used in order to avoid noises in public zones, such as schools, courts, and hospitals. Do you know what this sign means? Yes, it's a one-way traffic sign. Drivers entering a one-way sign must travel in the direction that the sign is pointing. One-way signs designate the direction in which the traffic is traveling. Drivers must not travel in the opposite direction of a one-way sign due to the risk of a head-on collision. I'm sure you've seen this one before. It is a men at working sign, and it is a warning traffic sign. Men at work indicates that the road workers are in or near the roadway. Drivers should be alert and prepared to slow down or stop if they encounter this sign. Sometimes, the men at work signs are posted in construction zones where speed limits are reduced. Are you familiar with this sign? Yes, it is a no U-turn sign. No U-turn signs are posted at intersections to indicate the driver is not legally allowed to make a U-turn. A U-turn is a turn in the road to go in the opposite direction. Our final sign is a stop sign, which is designed to notify drivers that they must come to a complete stop and make sure the intersection is safely clear of vehicles and pedestrians before continuing past the sign. Boys and girls, be sure to look for these signs the next time you are traveling on the road. Let's step a bit further into safety, and let's look at safety rules in the air. What should we do? At landing and takeoff, all passengers must fasten their seatbelts. Observe no smoking signs. Turn off all electronic devices. For example, cell phones, tablets, iPads, when told to do so. Obey all instructions given by the air host or air hostess. In the case of emergencies, the first step is to always secure your own mask first before helping other people around you. This is very important due to the fact that you will not be able to help anyone if you are injured. Let's move on to safety rules on water. The first and very important safety rule while traveling on water is that you must always wear a life jacket. Additionally, you should not lean out of the boat or put hands in the water while traveling. Do not overload the boat or it may capsize. Balance the boat by distributing passengers and goods evenly throughout the boat. Observe buoys and poles in the water that help to guide boats away from rocks and holes. Have you ever felt scared while traveling? Or were you in danger at some point? I'm sure it might have been a terrifying experience. From these pictures, we can observe that the accidents all occurred because of disobeying safety rules when traveling on land, in air, or on water. It is therefore very important that we obey all safety rules. This ensures that we are protected from danger. Also, the observance of these rules help to avoid accidents when traveling. As the old proverb says, it's better to be safe than sorry. So boys and girls, I hope you're ready to practice these safety rules. But before you go, let's recap. Transportation is the movement of humans, animals, and goods from one location to another. There are 3 modes of transportation: land, air, and water. Land transport involves safety rules for pedestrians, motorists, cyclists, motorcyclists, and passengers. Traffic or safety signs warn you of possible dangers and provide information about rules when using the roads. For example, traffic lights or no U-turn. There are safety rules that must be observed when traveling in air and on water. Finally, it is important to practice safety rules since they protect us from danger and accidents. Boys and girls, I had an enjoyable time telling you all about safety practices and transportation. This is Miss Melissa saying goodbye for now until our next class.